brows ago.
Hello everybody, welcome. Can you all hear me? Wave at me, do something. Let me know if you can hear me tonight. That would be really good. Anyway, I'm here. So how are you all going with your staying at home? Forgot what I was going to say. How are you all going with your staying at home? And just remember, guys, social distancing. So stay 1.5 meters from the pooter, please. Back off. We're not going to spread this bug around, are we? Okay, great. Everyone can hear me. Brilliant. All right. Okay. So part 3 of how to survive this crisis, guys. We're eating out of our pantries because we're on shutdown, and whilst we can still get to the supermarkets and to the greengrocers and to the butchers, shelves aren't really filling up. Wayne and I did a quick scout through our local Coles on Sunday morning, Sunday about lunchtime, and seriously, there was very little, even less than there had been the week before. So there was no toilet paper, no serviettes, no tissues, no soap powder. They had milk this time, some frozen veg, but not a lot. All the packet meals, the taco kits and that sort of thing was still all gone. Little in the way of meat. Fruit and veg wasn't much. It looked like what was there had been well picked over anyway. Soft drink, they seemed to have some, not the same amount they would normally have. But it would have been tricky for me to do a regular shop there because there were no ingredients, and I buy ingredients. So that got me thinking, whilst I have a stocked pantry and I can use it, how do I restock it? I'm going to have to get creative, because if I was, if I only had 1 month's supply in my stockpile in my pantry, then after a month, what do we eat and how do we replace that? So I was thinking about ways we could do that, and we're going to have to get creative, folks. If this is going to drag on for any length of time, then we're all going to have to be creative. That's just the way of it. So shopping will take longer. Drats, and I don't like shopping, but it's going to take longer. We're going to be doing our shopping in a different way. We'll be buying different things. So we need to sort of stop and think about it. And, we might be eating well at the moment because we're eating down our fridges, our freezers, our pantry shelves. But in a month or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, where do we go? I was talking to a friend today and she said she's fine for meat. She has heaps of meat. Meat, chicken, that's not a problem at all for her. What she's missing is flour. She has no flour to do baking, to do, to make cakes or biscuits or scones or bread or whatever. So she's hunting for flour. Little things like that. I was thinking, I have probably about 300 grams of yeast left in the yeast jar. So that'll last for a little while. But after that, what do I do? So I did some research. One of my goals last year was to master sourdough. I didn't master sourdough last year, so I've moved it again, and I'll be practicing again to do sourdough, because then we don't need yeast and we can still have delicious breads and wraps and donuts and scrolls and all sorts of things. They'll just be sourdough instead of regular dry yeast. I can do that. Now, I posted the recipe in the tip of the day yesterday for a really simple, quick sourdough starter. It's not quite the authentic one that takes a few days to get going, but if you need bread in a hurry, that's the one to use. It's very simple. Overnight, you'll be able to start making your bread with it. And the recipe's in the recipe file, but it did go out as yesterday's tip of the day too. If you missed that email, then have a look for it. Okay. Alrighty, so hello Vanessa, hello Joy. Joy can hear me loud and clear once you put the headphones in. Thank you.
That would help.
It would help, yeah. Okay. So I was thinking about what we could do if we started to get low on things, or like my friend ran out of flour, but we had plenty of meat. So networking, guys. Network. That came out wrong, didn't it? But network with family, with friends, with neighbours. Jump on Facebook. I bet you never thought you'd hear me praise Facebook. Jump on Facebook and set up a closed group amongst your friends for a buy, swap, sell of groceries that you need. Do it with your family. You don't have to have face-to-face contact with them. If they're nearby, they can come, drop whatever it is at your doorstep and leave. You don't have to see them. You don't have to speak to them. You don't have to touch them meet them face to face. They can leave it on the doorstep and go. You can do the same thing for them if it's something that you have that they need. We can all get through this if we're a little bit creative, a little bit patient, a little bit giving, and a little bit kinder. We'll manage. So okay, so yeah, I'm reading my notes. Sorry, guys. Talk to your family, your friends, your neighbours. You don't have to do it in person, like I said. Just set up a little bit of a networking group between those of you that know, that might need something. And look out perhaps for elderly family members or mums with young children, new babies, whatever, older neighbours and that might not have anyone to be able to help them like that, and try and include them if you can. Like I said, we all need to be a little bit kinder at the moment. I know we have one of our members on here who's cooking extra meals for a couple of people who can't do it for themselves. It's a little thing to do. When she's cooking tea, she cooks a couple of extra serves and dishes them up for these people and takes them meals. That's a really nice thing to do. And if they're shut-ins, they can't get out, that's what they need. And we all need to be aware of our community, our immediate community, and see how that's working around us. Perhaps the good thing to come out of this is we'll actually get community back again, maybe, and neighbourhoods back again. I'll have to see. But putting the word out that you need something is the first step towards getting it without paying a fortune and without having to do battle in supermarket queues and things like that. The second step is to keep your eyes open. So even if we are on lockdown, we will still be able to leave the house to go for a walk, for exercise. At the moment, the time I heard this morning was 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the afternoon. So 20 minutes, you can walk 10 minutes in one direction from your home and 10 minutes back. That's your 20 minutes. You can keep your eyes open, look for fruit trees in parks, fruit trees in people's backyards that are hanging over the fence. Hanging over the fence, fair game, folks. If the fruit's over the fence, you can pick it. If it's over the fence, you could perhaps slip a note under their door and ask them to call you to see if you can go and pick more of it if you need more of it. We have a neighbour up the hill from us who has this massive lemon tree and they never pick them. So I get the ones on the footpath side, but there's more than half the tree in the yard and they just let the lemons drop. So I have a number of times knocked on the door, said, could I go and pick some lemons? And I brought the back of a jar of lemon butter. So it's a little kindness to take them the lemon butter because they're saving me a fortune in lemons. Keep your eyes open for things like that. So apples, plums, whatever you can see. and practice gleaning. It's hard work, and you do have to be aware of it and keep your eyes open. But you know, if you can't get fruit, or you can't get out to get fruit, but you can see it on your walks, why not? Be prepared. Keep a supermarket bag in your pocket so that you've got something to put it in as you go, as you find it when you're walking, and you can restock that way. It might not be the bananas that the kids like, but fruit is fruit, so they can suck it up. Fruit is fruit. They will learn. Okay, now third step, I sort of touched on it then, be flexible. Now, if you run out of eggs or you're getting low on eggs, don't use the eggs for your baking. Go and look up the egg substitutes. I posted egg substitutes on Cheapskates Chatter this morning, I think, because someone was asking about them. There's a load of substitutes that you will probably have right in your kitchen right now that you can use for eggs. So keep the fresh eggs for eating and use the egg substitutes for baking. Be flexible. Same with milk. If you run out of milk and you've only got powdered milk, use the powdered milk, or use the powdered milk in your baking and keep the fresh milk for the tea and the drinking. Cut back on the drinking of the milk for the time being if it's going to be hard for you to get milk. It's, you know, there's other things, other dairy that they can have to get the calcium. So be flexible. You know, the bananas, I mentioned bananas because we had them in the fruit bowl. If bananas go brown, so what? Mash them up, put them in yogurt, mash them up and turn them into a banana cake or muffins or banana bread. Make banana ice cream with them. Yeah. Use them up. They don't have to be eaten like that. Now, if you want to keep your bananas, put them in the fridge. If you can get bananas at a reasonable price, they were $6 a kilo on Sunday. So if you can get bananas at a reasonable price and they're a fruit that your family likes, buy what you can afford and put them in the crisper drawer in the fridge. The skins will go black. Trust me, the skins will go black. They don't like the cold. The skins will go black. But the actual fruit inside will stay firm. It will be fine. So you'll be able to peel it and eat it, and it will be great. And then put the banana peels in your compost or toss them straight onto the ferns, or don't waste them. Use them up. You know, if you're looking for spag bowl, for instance, but you're out of mince, so just have spaghetti with a tomato sauce. You can use tinned tomatoes, some garlic, some basil, some oregano, an onion, diced onion, fry it all up, put it over the spaghetti and sprinkle it with a little cheese if you like. And you can still have your spaghetti with sauce. It just won't have meat in it if you don't have mince. Be flexible, and probably be flexible. Don't be afraid to try new things. We're going to have to. I actually think this is quite exciting. I'm getting a bit excited about the idea of finding new ways to use what I have. I can't wait till I, pick up the tin of chickpeas and go, okay, well, I can make hummus, I can curry them, I could roast them in the oven and have them as a snack. What else can I do with them? And I'll start looking for ways to use the chickpeas. I can't wait. I really am excited about this. I think it's going to be, for someone who doesn't like to cook like me, I think it's going to be a good challenge. The other thing that we need to do, and that we can do to refill our pantries, is simply grow what we eat. Now, in Australia, we're moving into winter, which means the northern half of the country is going to be planting what we down south would call summer crops, because their summers aren't conducive to our summer crops. So they'll be doing the tomatoes and things like that in the north now. But here down south, I've got broccoli, silver beet, spinach, mini cauliflowers, mini cabbages. I've planted sugar snap peas. I've got parsnips and Swedes in for our winter veggie garden. So I ran out of room, so otherwise I'd have kept going with more. But that's our winter veggie garden. Now, all those things, some of them will take a couple of weeks to grow, some of them will take a month, some of them might take 6 weeks, some of them will be a bit longer. But things like the lettuce, and here in Melbourne, we can grow lettuce all year round. It's just a bit slower in winter, and that's fine, because when it's slow, you can pick 1 or 2 or 3 leaves a day and use them, and it will keep growing. The same with your silver beet. Cut 2 or 3 leaves a day, or however many you need for your meal, and leave the plant in the ground, and it will keep growing. It will keep producing for you. So you're better to do that with the young leaves so that it will just keep growing. And then we get lettuce and silver beet for the entire winter from the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 plants. It's really worth doing. Little things like that. But stagger your planting and give yourself a variety of vegetables so that you can make do with what you've got. Now, I like the mini cauliflowers and the mini cabbages because one is enough for a meal for my family. I also like them because they actually mature faster. They're ready to harvest faster than the big ones, obviously, because they're small. So I can use those, and 1 mini cabbage will do us 2 meals. 1 mini cauliflower does us 1 meal with a bit left over for soup. So it's easy to plan our meals when we have mini veggies in the garden. Beets are another thing. Beetroot's another thing that grows in winter, and you can eat the beetroot leaves, the greens off the top. Carrots will grow. If you're going to do carrots, they need really sandy, really loose soil, and sow them direct. They don't like to be transplanted. Carrots, parsnips, turnips, anything that grows underground, any root vegetable, you're better off to direct sow, which simply means planting the seeds straight into the garden bed, because they do not like to be disturbed. They like to settle in and just grow. So, but you can do those now. They're all ready to go in the ground now. I was in Bunnings yesterday too, Maureen, and they didn't even have flower seedlings, which was hilarious because I'm thinking usually they've got petunias and violas and marigolds and all sorts of little things. I'm thinking, can we eat these things? Am I missing something? I've never thought to eat petunias, but anyway. So we can keep our pantries full. They may not be full the way they are now, but if we're careful, if we're creative, if we are a little bit more energetic than we usually are and put a bit more effort into it, we will keep them full and we will have enough to eat. Things like when you have bacon, instead of trimming the fat off and throwing it away, keep it, learn how to render it down so that you've got that bacon fat or the bacon grease for frying in. Because I noticed oil was one thing that was missing in the supermarket. No vegetable oil, no olive oil, no sunflower, no canola. It was just an big empty bag. So think about doing that. You can render down the fat of the bacon. If you've got steak or chops with fat, render down the fat. There's heaps of videos. I would watch a video to find out how to do it. I could explain it, but if you watch the video, go to YouTube, find Sutton Days, and it's DAZE, or Prepsteaders, any of those sort of homesteading prepper type YouTubers will have a video on how to render fat for cooking. Because you might remember your mother or your grandmother probably had a dripping tin, which was probably a tin or a jar, and it would have had some sort of strainer over the top to keep the bits out. The hot fat got poured into it, it strained out all the crispies, and then the fat in the bottom was reused, and often over and over and over. Makes the best baked potatoes. Much better than oil. Not quite as healthy, but much better. Tastes so good. So they're all things that we might need to learn to do. And you know, if we don't need to do it, but we know how to do it, we have a skill. We've got another skill up our sleeves. We've learned something else. We should be collectors of skills. I used that term last year. I think I want to be a collector of skills. I want to learn how to do sourdough. I want to learn how to crochet a doily. I've mastered the doilies. I'm still working on the sourdough. Be a collector of skills so that you can do things for yourself. But if you suddenly find yourself unemployed, you have a skill that you can barter for something. So if you know how to put zips in or make really nice buttonholes or take up hems, you can barter that work with someone who has something that you want. It might be peaches off the peach tree. Peaches are out of season, but that was just you can barter that skill to get something that you want. It's something to think about. Oh, joy, yeah, dripping fried bread, but only if it's been fried in dripping. Oh, yum. Sorry. Yeah. No, Maureen Diggers still has quite a few seeds. I ordered some today. Maybe they're member only. All right. Just come back from the supermarket. Emptiest shelves except for the aisle with soft drinks. Wow, that's interesting. Who was that? That's 301 Jules. Yvonne, big roll of pork from Costco, $6.30 a kilo. Wow, that's doubled in price, hasn't it?
You we should have gotten the whole hog.
Cut it up for different meals, yeah. Broccoli or cauliflower. Oh, I'll see what I've got, Maureen. You know, bartering your skills is something. If you're a really good bread maker, you can make bread and barter a loaf of bread for a bar of soap if you don't make soap. Hannah's company ran out of soap today. And so her supervisor went out to look for it. He had to go to 4 different shops.
Yeah.
4 different shops before he found it. And he actually found some bar soap in a $2 shop. Now, they don't really want bar soap. They want the hand soap because it's more sanitary.
Which I don't understand. I don't think it would be.
People don't rinse the soap off. Yeah, but anyway, soap is soap. And so they're scrounging for soap. Now, my solution was I have plenty of my own homemade soap out there that I will be happy to sell them. I'll sell it to them at a fair price. I don't want to price gouge anyone, but, it's there. But if you can make bread and you have a friend who makes soap and they need bread and you need soap, swap it. Check out the prices of loaves of bread at Baker's Delight or Brumby's or somewhere like that. Bread's expensive. Good bread is expensive. Even good supermarket bread is expensive. So it's worth having a skill and knowing that you've got it so that you can barter it. All right. Hello, Carmel. Welcome from the Gold Coast. That's nice. Estelle, yes, you can make liquid soap from bar soap. You will need glycerin to grate your soap, add some hot water. You need to add glycerin to it to stop it resetting into glug. No, it's not just hot water and blending. It will, to do that, if you grate your soap and just add hot water until you think it's the right consistency, it sets into a gel. So if you want a gel, that's fine. But if you want a true liquid hand soap, you need to add glycerin to it. You can get glycerin at the chemist. I think health food aisle at the supermarket, or the health and beauty aisle at the supermarket should have glycerin, and it's not overly expensive. In fact, I don't think it's very expensive at all, is it? I can't remember.
$3 or $4?
Yeah, for a bottle, about $3 or $4 for a bottle, which is around 250 mils, I think. So you need probably 2 tablespoons per bar of soap, and you'd need maybe 1 bar of soap. I'm trying to remember, is 3 or 4 cups of water and 2 tablespoons of glycerin. So you do need to cook it to melt the soap. So grate the soap as fine as you can, zest the side, put it in a pot with the water on the stove, let it come to heat slowly so that it doesn't go whoosh and do a volcano on you and overflow. Add your glycerin, stir it all in, and it should stay that thin, like half set jelly, liquid jelly type texture of liquid hand soap. But just using soap and hot water, it will turn to a really thick gel, reset, and cause you all sorts of problems. It's in the tip store, Estelle, to know how to do that. So, all right. Keeping the pantry full when the shops are open and everything is normal is easy. As we know, we make our list, we go and do the shopping, we pick it up, we bring it home, shelves are back to normal. Right now isn't normal. It's not our normal. I've heard the Prime Minister, I've heard all sorts of people calling it the new normal. I'm not sure that I want it to be the new normal, but anyway. So supermarket shelves aren't really getting any fuller. They're not really refilling. They're just still looking pretty bare and empty to me. That's okay. Maybe I'm just not there when people are doing their shopping. So you've got the basics like rice, pasta, flour, sugar, breakfast cereals, tea, coffee, milk powder. They're the things that are all still missing. So we can't buy them. We're living out of our pantry and using up our pantry stocks. You know what? That's exactly why we have a stocked pantry. For emergencies, for the hiccups, for the curveballs life throws us. Whether it's coronavirus, whether it's sudden unemployment, whether it's being flooded in, or bushfires, or illness. We've planned ahead, we've prepared, and we've built a pantry so that we can survive, so that we can live and keep going with what we've got without having to worry about how we're going to do it. So when people ask you in the future, if you happen to mention that you have a fully stocked pantry, and they ask you in the future, why would you do that? Because a lot of people, even one young man yesterday, a friend I was talking to, now he's single. He's a single fellow in his mid-20s. And he was like, oh, there's nothing in the supermarkets. And I said, I've told, this is why I suggest that you keep 1 week's worth or 2 weeks worth or a month's worth of food ahead in your pantry so that you're always shopping ahead. If you see things on half price, you buy 2 and put 1 away as a spare. When you open the spare, then you replace it, because you don't run out. And it gives you time. When you've got things on your shelf and you've got your pantry stocked, you now have the time to start looking to fill up the gaps before they're really big, before everything's gone. You've got 1 or 2 things missing, you've got a bit of time because you've still got 3 or 4 on the shelf. So you've got time to look for them, time to fill the gaps, time to find an alternative that you can use, that you can afford, that you can actually physically get your hands on. Right. Linky family, Kath, do you think what's happening now with drought, bushfires, pandemic will raise a generation of cheapskates or preppers? No, I don't. I think what will happen is everyone will suddenly, as we're seeing, everyone's doing the big panic buying, filling up on weird stuff type of thing. As soon as life goes back to normal, to what we knew, they'll go back to shopping from day to day, eating out, getting deliveries, not worrying about keeping a backup stock because it's easier for them. The way we live is hard work, folks. It's hard work to cook from scratch. It's hard work to menu plan. It's hard work to do a shopping list of ingredients and figure out how they're going to fit in your budget. It's hard work to grow your own food. You actually have to physically do these things. And it takes time away from television or the tablet or, phones or whatever. So pretty much, we have pretty much a world, I won't generalize like that. We have pretty much a nation of really lazy people. Now, they might get upset with me when I say they're lazy, but they are, because they're always looking for the easiest option. It doesn't matter that it's not the right choice, it's the easiest option for them. They don't want to put the effort in. They don't want to put themselves out. They don't want to put themselves out for themselves or for anyone else. So they're going to go the easy way. So right now, there's an awful lot of people who are trying to figure out what to do with the 50 kilos of rolled oats they bought last week. Hannah said she could do so much with that because they don't know. But as soon as they don't need to know, they'll go back to their own way. They'll go back to doing what they used to do. People, I think, how do I explain this? Not everyone has the desire to actually look after themselves. They want someone else to take the responsibility. So, whereas I'm quite happy to look after myself and my family, I think that's my job. I have a husband, I have 3 children, I have a home, I have a garden. It's my job to look after it. That is my responsibility. So that's what I like to do. Not everyone thinks like that. Be interesting to see though. I was really quite upset when I heard this. I think it was Saturday night's news, and chickens sold out around Melbourne. You can't get a chicken, as in a hen to lay eggs, a laying chicken, for love nor money around Melbourne. They've sold out. The fellow they were interviewing, he normally sells 100 chickens a week. For the last 2 weeks, he's sold over 100 chickens a day, and he now has no more to sell. He's got to wait till the next lot of eggs hatch and do whatever they do. So there's an awful lot of people buying chickens because they think that that's an easy way to get eggs. I'm pretty sure they don't realise the work that goes into looking after hens, because they've got to be fed. They have to be cleaned. Their hutches have to be cleaned. The dishes have to be cleaned. They have to be watered. You have to check them, make sure they're all right. You've got to look for lice and all those things and keep an eye on them. You've got to know what to feed them. Then you've got to be able to get the feed. And I know chicken feed is really expensive at the moment. So that's fine. And then you've got to wait for the eggs. Because I wonder how many people bought a half a dozen hens, took them home and thought they'd get a half a dozen eggs the next day. It doesn't quite work like that. So I'm wondering too, and it just about broke my heart, because I know when this is over, it's going to be like the puppies and kittens at Christmas time. Everyone gets them for Christmas because they think it's a lovely present, and then after Christmas, they're abandoned. So I think it's really sad, and it really quite distressed me to think about that. That was, I think, for most people, that was a spur of the moment panic buy that really is going to backfire big time. Oh, yeah. We had chickens. Look, when I was growing up, we had hens. Mum had, I don't know, dozens of hens. We're never short of eggs, and she used to keep my aunties in eggs too with the hens. So I don't mind them. I like them. I like the noise. It's a nice background noise to have. But it just, I was really, that was the thing, I think, over this whole thing. That's what upset me the most. To think that people are buying hens in the hope that they'll have eggs without actually knowing exactly what they're getting into, because they're a lot of work. Eggs were sold out for a couple of days in Coles and Woolworths, Maureen. I have no idea why, but they were. So I know Aldi had eggs, but Coles and Woolworths didn't have eggs for a couple of days, and maybe that's what frightened people. They should have just come to me and I'd have given them an egg substitute they could use. But anyway, yeah, see, chicken, that's really expensive, $24 for 20 kilos chicken feed. Yeah, we might get them cheap in a few months. Hannah did tell me not to get too upset because the farmers will buy them back. We'll probably get them, a couple of weeks later in the frozen food aisle or something. But anyway,
because we've got to raise them from chicks.
Yeah. That's right, Joy. It's coming into the off season. The chickens aren't going to, they're not going to be on the lay, and it's just, they're going to start molting. I wonder if they realise that chickens molt. It's just, anyway. So that was the thing, I think, of this whole thing. That's what upset me the most, watching this news story about chickens. Now, I've tried to not watch the news except for a little bit in the mornings and our 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever it is, news that we get of an evening, and I still don't watch all of it. I'm in and out and fluffing around while that's on. I figure that if something drastic happens, Hannah will let me know, Wayne will let me know, one of the boys will let me know, someone will let me know. If the North Pole suddenly melts, I'll find out.
Yeah, because the water rises.
Yeah, I don't need to be listening to our Premier and the New South Wales Premier and the South Australian Premier and then some guy from Western Australia and someone from Northern Territory, all giving their different opinions and all explaining how they're going to do things. That I don't need that, and I don't want it. So I've listened to a couple of press conferences the Prime Minister's given, and yep, okay. Otherwise, I turn the news off. We had a member she's just not coping with it. Turn it off. Don't listen to it. Just ignore it. The happiest times of our lives, and I'm pretty sure Wayne will back me up on this, is when we're in the middle of the bush and we have no phone service, no television, no radio. The world could explode around us. We wouldn't know until we get back to civilization. And we can do, 4, 5, 6 weeks of that. And it is so relaxing. And it's interesting because when we come home, we're all of a sudden bombarded with television and the signs, street signs and billboards and things. It's overwhelming. So I try to shut it out as much as I can. And, I think if you're getting stressed about this, shut it out. Don't even think about it. If you're worried about the share market, if you're worried about your superannuation, ignore it. Forget about it. Wait a month and then have a look at it. You can't do anything about it now anyway, so don't worry about it. Just ignore it for a while. put it on the back burner, write a note in your diary to check it in on the 24th of April and see how it's going if you really need to. Otherwise, just forget about it. If it's really stressing you, it's not worth it. I'm not making light of what is a really serious situation, but I'm also not going to let it turn me into a nervous wreck. And I don't think anyone should. There are things we know what we have to do. We do wash our hands, stay inside as much as possible, only go out when it's absolutely necessary, maintain your social distancing, do the best you can, and stop worrying about it. We can't change it. We can't go back and make it not happen. So we now have to move forward, doing the best we can. And if the best we can is sticking to the suggestions, the regulations, the restrictions, then that's what we do. Again, we can't change it on our own. So we all stick together, we all pull together, and we'll get through it. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. And everyone will be pulling in different directions and it'll fall in a heap. Right. Okay. Make cards. Yep, make cards. So I'm going to sew tomorrow. I have a bit of time tomorrow to myself.
Hankies.
I'm going to sew, yes, I'm going to sew some hankies. I've got some pot holders cut out that I really want to get sewn. So I'm going to sew in my downtime tomorrow and make things that make me happy. And I need to get my cards uploaded to the forum because I have been making them. I just haven't been taking the photos and uploading them, so I could do that. Barb, Yvonne, we do the best we can with what we have. There's no point in worrying about it. There's no point in letting it make you sick. You do the best you can with what you have. And if you fall in a heap, you get up and you just get going again. There's no right or wrong way to be a cheapskate. You do the best you can with what you have. We're all at different points in our life. We're all at different stages. So you do the best you can with what you have for you and your family and your situation. If it works, yay. If it doesn't work, then you put it aside, you try something new. But there's no, you do the best you can. That's it. That's all you can do is the best you can. Yeah, and the degrees of cheapskating. Joy's right. You know, we've got newbies. I've been doing this for a gazillion years. Joy's been doing it for probably a bit longer. We all are at different stages. We all have different things that we're prepared to compromise on. There's things that I won't change my coffee. I won't change my tea. They're my things. I'm happy to try anything else, but I like the particular brand of tea I like, and I like the particular brand of coffee I like. So I wait until they're on sale, usually half price, and then I stock up as much as I can till I use up the slush fund. And that's why I don't run out of tea and coffee. I might though, this time.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Anna's looking at the tea, and there's plenty of tea. So there we go. All right. Hi, Coralie. Well, there you go. See, Joy's been doing it 45 years. I've been doing it
25 years.
25 years. So you should be sitting here, Joy. Exactly, Linky family. And we're all at different stages in our life. Wayne and I consider ourselves empty nesters because really the three kids are adults and they come and go, or they have been coming and going as they pleased, suit their own, do their own lives. Yes, they live here in the house, but that helps them, but it also helps us because it means if we go away, we've got someone in the house to watch it for us. So we consider ourselves empty nesters pretty much because our expenses are our expenses. We're no longer buying kids' clothes and shoes and toys and things, and we're not paying school fees anymore and that. So we consider ourselves empty nesters. The next stage will be retirement. Oh, it's lunchtime today. I was ready to retire.
Same.
I was just ready to say, I've had enough. I'm tired. I want to go. That's it. But I'm over that now. So, back in the day when I had, a preschooler and a toddler and a newborn baby and half a house and no garden and a husband who was doing the best he could on whatever casual work he could get, it was hard. Those days are past us now. We're in a different stage of our life. So we move on, we keep going, do the best we can. Yep, exactly. Alrighty. Hannah's yawning. I'm really, really tired. I don't know why I'm tired, but anyway. So there we go. So we're all at different stages. I love it. And I think it's really nice. Thank you all so much for coming and chatting, because it's nice to be able to share and learn from everybody else. Suggestions here and there. I was looking at the things up the top, some of the things and suggestions. They're really good. We're in a unique position, folks. We're in a really unique position because we're like-minded. We don't mind sharing, and we can get together twice a week and have a good old chat. You can listen to me waffle on and you can talk over here in the comments and have a good old chat and talk about all this stuff and know that we're not going to be mocked. We're not going to be laughed at or anything. We're not going to be thought odd or weird, strange. Nobody's going to look at us, give us the evil eye or anything, because we're all like-minded. So this is my safe place. I hope it's a safe place for you guys too. I'm going to go a little bit early tonight because I'm a bit tired. I had a really big couple of days. I've been processing soup packs to put in the freezer. I've had spring onions drying in the dehydrator. I've been doing apples, stewing apples and bottling apples, and I've still got pears and apples and plums to do. So I'm exhausted. We are real. We are real, Joy. I know. And you know what, Joy? When they say, I'm hungry, and we say, come to our house for dinner, or I can't come for dinner at the moment, but I'll send you a meal, they'll love us even more. Although probably love your meals more than they'd like mine. But anyway. I'm reading the comments, it's scrolling up faster than I can read them. Sorry, guys. Barb, I like no-bake baking too. I'm getting better at it. All right. Okay. So I'm going to go. We'll be back on Thursday. On Thursday, we're going to try and use the kitchen because we want to try some things in the pie maker. We want to try some scones. We want to try some scrolls in the pie maker and see how they work. So hope you'll bear with us. We'll be using my pantry supplies because I won't be going to any shops now, probably for a couple of weeks. Don't need to. Thank goodness. So that's what we'll be doing on Thursday night. So please join us. If you've liked tonight's show, guys, please give me a thumbs up underneath there. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do. And it's a lot of ands. And if you know someone that you think might get something out of listening to me waffle on about this stuff, please feel free to share the link to the video. Just give it a couple of minutes to do what it has to do after the end of the show, and you'll be able to share it to them, because, you know, the more people we help be self-sufficient, the easier it's going to be to get everything back to normal, I think. Okay. Oh, Suzanne. Wow, you are so kind. They mocked you and then you let them shop from your pantry. I hope they paid you. All right. Okay. I shall see you on Thursday. Thank you so much for joining me, and good night.